Good night, everyone, and welcome to the Georgetown Tea House. My name is Marcel. For those of you who are here for the very first time, we welcome you. We're glad that you chose the Tea House to spend time. And tonight, you're in for another great conversation. 15 questions. Our summer series, 15 questions. For those of our viewers who are going to be looking at the broadcast after we end, we welcome you. We encourage you to leave your comments and to still share with your friends. We are just so happy that you do that. We look forward to seeing your comments even after we're gone. So welcome, guys. Welcome. And don't forget, go ahead, like the broadcast, share the broadcast with your friends and family. And we want to hear from you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
With us this evening is Orlanda Stewart.
Welcome back. It's another Monday and it's our summer series, 15 questions. We have a very interesting conversation. We have a beautiful guest that we had the privilege of interviewing this week. Her name is Orlanda Stewart. All right. If you're here for the first time, I welcome you. We welcome you. You're gonna have a really, really good time with us. So I want you to go ahead and like and share. And don't forget, I want your 2 and 3 cents in the chat. All right. So don't forget, put your comments. Tell us if you're here for the first time. Tell us where you're coming to us from. And I'm telling you, you're not going to regret spending time with us. All right. I'm not alone. So tonight, I'm here with my friend Tyrone. Tyrone, thank you for choosing to sit with us. And we're always happy. You always got, all these good comments and these ideas and stuff. We're happy. So just say hi to our friends.
Thank you for having me. Good night, everyone. And thank you for joining. I'm happy to be here again to share. And I'm sitting in a humble seat of a servant of God. So I don't know everything. I'm still here to learn a lot. So I'm hoping that we have a wonderful time tonight. And I hope all of you are keeping safe. I'm happy to be here.
Sure, we will. And my goodness, I miss my friend. I miss my friend Cleon. Listen, Cleon, it's not the same without you. And when you're cackling out and stuff. And I mean, come on, man. I'm happy when you're here, And Cleon, you have to tell them about you got to pitch the YouTube. Come on, man. Do something for us. Oh, and before you pitch, let me let you know that this is episode 2 reboot of our 15 questions. We aired on Friday night, but we had major technical difficulties. So we want to still thank our guest panelist, Gregory Wiles. He wasn't hearing really clearly. And we just, it wasn't going good. But thank you so much. Thank you for staying true with us. Thank you for being here. Yes, Cleon, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be back at the Georgetown Tea House. So if you're now joining us, make certain that you grab your hot beverage, tea, juice, or water if you are on that. It's the summertime. People want to drink a lot of iced tea, but remember, balance it, have some water. I'm telling you that you should be drinking water, and I don't really like drinking water, but nevertheless, that's not the point of us being here tonight. Remember, this is a Georgetown Tea House, and as Marcel rightly said, this is the reboot of our 15 question series. So we want you to click, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're on Facebook and you're viewing us now, share with your friends so that they can be a part of what's happening. When tea is spilling, everybody wants to know what you're drinking. So click, like, share, and subscribe, and you'll get all the tea that you need.
Oh, yes. Thank you for that, Leon. Thank you for that. So, guys, the first thing I want to just put this out here. After listening to Orlando, I want you to tell me what percentage would you say is still Guyanese? What percentage of her is still Guyanese? All right, maybe really going down. This is a conversation. We're trying to get to know our female better. All right, so we dig in. All right, so here we go.
Hi, Karen.
Our first 3 questions about choices. The first 2 should relax you a little, all right?
Okay.
Number 1, jamun drink, fine skin drink, mango drink, tamarind drink, cherry juice, passion fruit drink, 5-finger drink, lime water or swank, Morbi. What's your number 1 on this list and why?
Number 1 would be passion fruit. I love passion fruit drink. I guess it's just a little tinge to it that it has, that little tinge, and then the sweetness of that sugar, and I just love that. That's my number 1 thing when it comes to juices that I would choose.
All right, here we go. Question 2. Bora and milk, cabbage and beef, jubilante or eggplant and beef, curry chicken and potato, curry chicken with edo, curry chicken with yam, 2 fish, or pepper pot. Which of these go best with a hot plate of white rice?
It would definitely be curry chicken and potatoes. That is one of the most, I guess, favored dishes by most people or most Caribbean people. The love of curry and the curry anything, especially curry chicken. It's like a food that is it's something that we do or cook. That's the go-to food to cook every time. I have friends that are lovers of curry. They can do it all week and never get tired of it. So I think it would definitely, if I had to choose, it would be the curry chicken with potatoes and hot rice.
Okay, so we had lots of comments while Orlando was answering her question to her favorite drink and also to her favorite stew with white rice. People like to say the white rice, it could blind you. All right. So here it is. Tyrone, what is your favorite drink? Orlando talked about her favorite drink being passion fruit. What's yours?
Well, for me, I'm a double type of person. So I normally mix a whole lot of stuff to make the fruit juice. But if I have to choose one, it would definitely be passion fruit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. I blend everything. I blend the passion fruit, blend the seed, everything, and I just squeeze out the juice and leave the pulp. And trust me, that kind of juice is the bomb. It is
Cleon?
fantastic.
Oh, wow. Cleon, talk to us. What's your favorite?
I love anything that is on the citrus side. So it's borderline between passion fruit or tamarind for me. Love a good tamarind juice.
Really?
But the Mobi, I've never acquired the palate for it as yet. Even though I think Bajan Sweet and Dandy is the Mobi of all Mobbies.
Listen. I have to agree with you there, Cleon. I am not a Molly person. It could be brewed in my house, and I would not drink it. But while living in Barbados,
If you get some Sweet and Dandy, you
and
good.
that is the thing. I'm telling you, sweet and dandy is it. Barbados, that sweet and dandy is it. I'm telling you, people would even bring that thing to New York. I'm telling you, that's it. But for me, it is. I prefer a good lime drink, though. I prefer a little swank, and I have to have essence in my swank. You know.
You're 100% Guyanese.
Yes, because it's so calming. It's really quench. You know, they call it a thirst quencher. You know, I love I love my little swank. And actually, tonight, even though you're at the tea house, and I'm not drinking anything hot tonight because it's very very hot in New York right now. So I'm actually having passion fruit iced tea, right? A black tea passion fruit iced tea.
Oh,
So
nice.
Yolanda, cheers. I'm actually having
Wonderful.
iced tea. And then she talked about what is our favorite stew with white rice. You know, pumpkin and beef and all these good stuff. But she chose curry. Talk to me, Cleon. Talk to me. Anybody?
I'm not an eggplant lover. Hate it with a passion. But you talk about the curry. Curry gotta get good pepper. And it must not be running, but it must have that level of substance. It must not be grainy because I don't like when people just sprinkle the curry powder in no. You have to hot the oil. Throw that garlic inside of the oil. Burn that garlic, and then you put that mixture of all of the spices and you allow it to marinate in that pot.
Yes,
Season that pot with the curry, and
Gyro.
then you add the meats
Yes.
and you let it simmer.
This is a cook. This
So
man.
I like a good curry with good spices, and it can't go with nothing else other than white rice.
I
Nothing else
agree.
other than white rice.
That's across the board. Tyrone, what's your preference?
I'm not a rice person, neither am I a curry person. But I want to ask a question: which type of curry you talking about? Indie or what's the other one?
There is nothing better than Indie Madrasa special
Indie
curry
Madras,
powder.
okay.
Even though this is not a plug for them, but I would prefer Champions. I prefer Champions curry powder.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a bit
I'm not about
more.
curry. So for me, I will go with eggplant. I love eggplant.
Oh wow.
Give me eggplant and anything. Eggplant and mince, eggplant and saltfish, eggplant and fried fish. Give me eggplant any day.
Not being racist in anywhere, but you indeed are a mixed person.
I do not eat eggplant. I don't want it at all. Don't give me it. I don't care we cook it with. I don't care how sweet your hands sweet. You see, I'm getting a lot of people in the comments. They're talking about my swank, and somebody asked me if it's mixed essence or vanilla. I think I usually drop a little bit of both in it. You know, give it the nice little mix. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you have to have a little mix.
But you need to try eggplant some more, Marcel.
No, sorry. and if I'm with Cleon and on the curry, if you make the curry, it can't be long water. It got to be thick, right? And my curry has to be a mixture of lala and indi.
Indeed. Oh.
It has to be a mix. You can't just get one thing. So Paula de Souza is saying okra.
Yeah.
Somebody,
okra.
yes.
Karela.
I love Karela, but I love it
Yes,
when I'm not sure if you guys know this dish that they call kalonji, where they stuff the Karela and they cook it down in coconut milk.
I've heard of it.
That is very good. Very, very good. Very, very good. And if I'm doing okra, I would prefer it with either dried shrimp or fresh shrimp.
Okay.
For those who are seafood lovers.
Right, but you see me, I was born, well not born, but raised Seventh Adventist. So shrimp and pork and thing in a part of the menu.
I do apologize if anybody feels offended by that.
I feel offended.
No offense.
No. Some eat it, some don't. And listen, I actually heard that you see, it's good for eat. They say sweet here. I hear enough people attest to the fact that how sweet pork is, but I just saying why.
Mind you, I'm having stew pork tonight with white rice and lentil peas and a fresh salad.
They will tell you, especially the ribs. The ribs.
Pork ribs, right?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Pork ribs are really good.
In this special madras curry, yes, Shondell. Okay, so let's move on. We're gonna be asking again, where in Guyana would you say Orlanda grew up? These are questions that I want you to answer, and not nobody that know Orlando very well. I want this to be strange people answering these questions. All right, so hold on. We're moving on for more of Orlanda's questions and her answers.
Question 3. There are 3 gentlemen before you, and you have the choice of marrying any one of the 3. Number 1 is a Christian gentleman with a good job. He's well mannered and is interested in having a family of his own. Number 2 also has a good job and is well mannered and is interested in a family, but defines himself as a spiritual person, not necessarily a Christian, and he doesn't go to church. Number 3 also comes with a good job and mannerisms and is interested in family, but he does not believe in God or in the existence of God. But more than the 2 others combined, his conversations are the most stimulating and intriguing. There is always something that you can learn from him. Who would you marry and why?
Good question. I love that. Definitely, it would be number 1. I don't even have to think about that. I always believe in having someone that is God-fearing, because God is the head of the house. He is first and foremost in everything that you do. When it comes to mannerism or what that Christian man can do, it doesn't mean that certain things he can be taught. Not because he's a Christian, that does not mean that he cannot indulge in certain things, because you are his wife, or I'm going to be his wife. We can do things whatever we want because we are a couple. We have been before man and God and say, I do, and I do not see why we should put limitations to certain things that we do. There shouldn't be limitations to the things that we can do together. So things can be thought. You know, we all, I guess, if he wasn't in the world, I've been in the world. And, you know, I don't mind being that teacher of certain things, but I think that he has what I need in my life most. Is a God-fearing man. He has a good job, and together the two of us can make so much happen. And for me, I've always wanted a family. I've always wanted kids. My number was 3, and I didn't get there, but I'm contented and happy with what I have. I have 2 beautiful kids, but definitely it would be number 1. It would be number 1.
Okay, great. But tell me, just my little curiosity. How do you deal? You know, there's always that person, that fellow who, no matter what he says, he always has you blushing. He always makes you think, makes you crack up. How would you deal with such a friend? How would you allow yourself not to be attracted to that kind of person to the point where you would marry them if they're not God fearing?
I think that is a good question. I think just because I am God fearing, it would be hard for me to fall in love with someone that I know have doubts about what God can do for us.
Okay. Guys, you heard Orlando's responses. Do you think Orlando wanted to marry a pastor? Just asking.
No.
What do you think? She should have been good with a pastor?
I think if she had the opportunity to, if that person would have presented himself to her, she would have been contented even with a pastor.
Oh, proper. But what do you thought of Orlando's answer, Tyrone?
I think our response to the question was well articulated. 1, 2, she gave solid reasons why she would go for number 1. And the main reason, from my understanding, is the God-fearing person. The person must have God in them, must have some Christ-like behavior in them. But there's something else I want to throw in the mix.
Yes.
The man who doesn't know God can be a moral person. A person who has very high moral standard. Now that brings into question, what are we looking for? Christianity, spirituality, or a person who has high moral standard?
I have a question too, Tyrone, and I'm going to put it out there. The person who is a person that you can talk to, he makes you laugh, he's a good provider and all the likes, but does not believe in God. Do you think that a Christian woman can make that man believe?
No.
No.
We can't make anybody believe to begin with. It is the Holy Spirit that draws people unto himself. We can be examples that can be a reflection of who God is, or rather we are the reflection of who God is in the earth. And therefore, if that is what he's going to use as a means of drawing the individual unto himself, sure, yes, he can. But me in my own self as a human being, I'm not able to save anybody. I'm not even able to draw them. Because I may have the same flaws as they do.
Okay. Yes, Tyron, go ahead.
If the person is on God's mission,
yes,
if the person is led by God, then God can make it work. But the question that will pop up now is, as a woman, what happens when you don't feel like talking? What happens when you're not in the mood to hear anybody say anything? because that is what connected you to the person. The
Right.
person's ability to keep conversation interesting, to keep you laughing. What happens when you're not in that mood, especially for an extended period of time? What
Right.
happens to the connection? Will the connection still be there to hold you together? Because the thing is, when what connects us or connects two people, when it seems to be going away, the only thing that keeps us together is our Christ-centeredness. That will keep together. But what happens when that goes? What else do we have to build on? What else do we have to hold on to?
Shondell is saying, Cleon, just quickly respond to Shondell's. She said the environment can influence the non-believer.
What environment?
Well, maybe the environment, whatever, as a person, your character. I'm thinking, I'm assuming, the young woman's character.
That is why I stated, and I like what
Tyrone.
Tyrone rightly said. If the person is on God's mission, I can't determine that for that individual. But we should never believe that we in ourselves have any ability or any power to change
Right.
anybody. It is the Holy Spirit that draws people unto Himself. All we are there for as the vessels within the environment to bring about the transformation and to see the change in the person's life. They may see you operate a certain way and say, but you know what, this is a bit different from the other Christian people that I have been engaging with. And this person's mannerism or this person's attitude in how they responded to me is totally different from the other rest of church people that I've dealt with. And therefore, I can have the conversation with them. And therefore, the change begins to happen. But it is not because of me. It is because of the Holy Spirit who's living and resident on the inside of the individual, who is on God's mission. Not to change the person,
Right.
but to be Christ-like and to show love and to show compassion and to show grace that was extended to them. I can't change nobody. But we have a lot of people who say, oh, well, I could marry to the man and he can change. And the man never change.
All right.
They're fasting and praying and the man still never change. And so vice versa for some men. They say, no, man, the girl is she's a good dancer. I want a good dancer inside of my life. And the woman never changed.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. If you're now joining us, this is 15 questions, our summer series at the Georgetown Tea House. I'm actually having a cup of black tea, passion fruit black tea. All right. It's cool. It's hot at this end, so I'm just cooling down with this. If you're here for the first time, just put in the comments where you're coming to us from. I see Michaela and I see Allison and all these girls. So thank you guys for coming. Don't forget to like, share the broadcast. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and to press the notification bell so that you will be notified every time we're on. We're moving on to question 4 and 5.
What should a woman never buy for someone she only recently started dating? What kind of gift should she not buy?
Oh my goodness. Maybe not buy gifts at all. If it's an occasion, maybe like a birthday, maybe you can take that person to a lunch or a dinner. Put in expensive things in someone's hand. It makes them like the appreciation sometimes is not there. They sometimes can see that as a weak sign of you just trying to buy them, or maybe you have it to give to them. So they might not appreciate it as they would have maybe later down in that relationship. So I would say maybe do more things like a dinner or a lunch or, a drink, kind of showing your appreciation and, hey, You know, I'm willing to do this with you and not give you more of the material things, because sometimes material things does not matter. It's material things. And if the real feeling of how you feel about that person, or they feel about you is not there, then it's not gonna work. It's just piece,
Okay.
a piece that can go away at any time.
Right. So don't the preferred thing is don't buy anything, huh?
Not right away. No.
Okay, cool. Now you've been in the US for how many years?
Ah, going on 18 or 19 years.
2018.
Yeah.
Christmas shopping in the US versus Christmas shopping in Guyana. Which for you was more fun or has been more fun?
That is no comparison. It's definitely Christmas shopping in Guyana. I mean, if you're not shopping, you window shopping. It's just that feeling, the different feeling, the different smells. I remember one time one friend said to me, he loved when he opened the door going back home and all he can smell was pepper pot and floor polish. And that was the days that we had to go on our hands and knees and make sure that the floor is shining, you know. But I miss that. I miss that. Even if I wasn't shopping, just going downtown and the lights and the vendors hustling you, trying to get you to buy from them. Just that alone is being missed.
All right. Good evening, one and all. You're on to 15 questions at the Georgetown Tea House. Tyrone and Cleon, what's going on? What's going on? No, I've got a question for you. You know, as you're listening to Orlando there, Tyrone, how much Guyanese you think is still left in her? If you had to do it percentage wise, how much Guyanese is still left in Orlando?
101%.
101. Interesting. Cleon, what's your number?
101%.
Your audio is off.
Sorry, I would say 1,000%. Nothing has changed, because when you could say Guyana, use a rare Guyanese. I mean, I'm from Guyana, and the way there are certain things, and to me, I believe she's partitioned by in terms of geographical location. That's where I would say she's from, but there are certain things when a Guyanese speak. I'm living in Jamaica, and when people say certain things, I'd be like, I wonder if this person's a Guyanese. There's a certain way that they say we say certain words, even though I may not sing 100%. Like if I am from Guyana, there are times persons say to me, Mr. Cadogan, you're really for Guyanese, you know, because you said a few things just now, and we couldn't figure out what you were actually saying. I said, but I really can't understand what you're trying to tell me, that you didn't understand what I just said. If I could understand you Jamaican patois, how come you can't understand when I'm speaking in Creole? Right. But I think she's still 100% Guyanese. Trust me. That one, oh, she's a tongue girl. Oh, she's probably from east west side, east west La Penitent, from that area there.
All right. Before the end of the broadcast, Orlando is going to tell us exactly where she's from, so we'll see how close we were. Moving on.
How would you advise a girlfriend who is in a good relationship, but who insists that she is in dire need of NRE?
Oh, I didn't expect
to. With the word NRE.
New relationship.
Energy.
New relationship energy. Yes. Try new stuff. Try different things. After being with someone, I guess for between 5 and 10 years, it starts to slow down because you're basically doing the same things over and over. Let's say travels. Try for me, I would try to do at least once or twice a year, different travels of us going someplace out of the country, different, and maybe weekends we take that little love rendezvous, that little love thing out, at home. That is where you do most of everything. Try different things. Get out the bed. You have the bathroom, you have your wash a spin cycle. Try different things. Dress up in lingerie, role play. Put some fairy lights around his car and tell him drive around the block and come arrest you. Do something different.
I like that one. Put some fairy lights around the car and tell him to come arrest you.
Yes, arrest you. Whatever you want, sir, I can be tonight. You have to try different things because if you're doing the same old thing, it's going to get boring. Go out there and buy him stuff you want to see him in. Let him be willing because you got to keep that spark. That is one of the reasons, like you said, she's looking for a new lease on her relationship. She wants something new. Somebody else comes around and try to offer that, and that is the cost of a lot of relationships going the other way. You have to keep each other intrigued and excited and do things that is different. Surprise him with different stuff just to keep your relationship alive.
Okay.
No, I
would. In your relationship instead of looking out.
Right. Correct. You can have anyone as long as your partner is willing. You can have anyone you want. There's too many stores out there. There's so much to do. There's so much you can come up with, think about, work together as a couple, encourage each other. There, like up here, we have like wine vineyards and stuff. Yes, just go and you can taste different wines and you can sit down and just look over the vineyard, lakes. There's so much you can do. Just find something different to do every time instead of doing the same old routine. Okay. I'll still try to fit in my lingerie that I had from 5 years ago. It won't work, but wherever it can fit up to, I'm putting it on.
I hear you, girl. I hear you. Good advice, I might add. Very good advice. Very good advice. I'm certain your friend would be happy at the end of that.
All right.
Ooh, mama. I just love when people can do
it could be a real, tricky thing in a relationship. Two people, they really do love each other. They're into each other. But then comes these moments, when things maybe seemingly begin to get a little boring, get a little dry. How would you counsel a young couple who has come to that point, Clea?
Well, I will tell them, as the word says, marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled. It's a relationship that you have decided to enter with the individual. And it's not about what you don't want, but understanding what the person requires or desires of you. You have made a commitment to each other, and that is not to be boring to the person or to push the person any further from you. But if the person is coming to you and say, I think we can do things not that is out of the way to put you in danger or anything like that, but that we will be able to still enjoy each other's company, My wife and I, we go because of coronavirus. We can't travel as we would like to, but we go to wine events. We decided, okay, I love cooking. I will just make the house look like a restaurant. Make you have a brain. And I like to say to people, Guyanese are the sharp minds of the world. We travel everywhere and make it. So therefore, nobody should say that the marriage is failing. You have a creative side of you, let it work. And you were born with that creative juice. Don't let it dry up and turn acid on your stomach.
I like how you put that.
Yeah.
I like how you put it over there.
Work where it needs, work and spin where you need to spin.
Come on, we want to see more comments coming up there, especially with our young ladies up there. I know a lot of you have come to that point where in your head, you're saying, man, I could do with something different, give us, give us your thoughts, give us some ideas as to how you address that instance. What's your take on all this, Tyrone?
From two perspectives. One, the natural progression of relationship. And the thing is, for all relationship, it goes through a cycle. So if the NRE is not in the present one, and you love the person, what makes you think that when you go out to get NRE on the outside, it will not go through the same cycle?
Right.
So the cycle will continue, and then we might find ourselves going to different persons at different times for NRE. So I look at it from that perspective, that relationship go through a cycle. From the second perspective is, as what Ms. Fowler said, variety is the spice of life. What keeps you together? And if we are into fulfilling each other's needs, then we should be committed enough to go the extra mile to make things so spicy, so great that the excitement is still there. And even if it gets boring, let it not be for an extended period of time. Because that's life. At times we get bored with certain things. And we will never know when to change unless we first start feeling boring. So the feeling will come, but we should not allow it to go for an extended period of time. And the thing is, if the husband meets the needs of the wife in terms of spicing up things, then the wife meets the needs of the husband, then they have they have a wonderful marriage. But my question is, if one partner sees that things are getting mundane and boring, that partner should take the initiative. Should let themselves be the spice.
Right. Okay.
And I'm not a counselor, but I've heard many stories of one partner trying many things, and then the other partner just not doing anything to change it. Now that's a whole different story, or that's a whole different ballgame altogether.
Right.
But the partner should be the difference or the spice that they want to see in the relationship. And if each partner become the spice, then we have a whole lot of spicy stuff in the relationship. And that will take care of everything. Everything, all the bedroom stuff, everything will take care of.
Right.
There'll be a clash of spices.
A clash of spices. But
yes.
Cleo and Tyrone and a few others in the comments, even Orlanda herself, we're using the word spice, spice things up and spice things up. And okay, we accept that. But some of us like marred man pork, some of us don't like marred man pork in the pot. Some of us like a lot of shallot and fine leaf thyme, Some prefer the 5 spice mix with a lot of black pepper and thing. So what do we do when we have a clash of the preference of spices? Both agree that we got to spice it up, right? What happens, Cleon, when we have a clash of as to what spices to use? Your audio is off.
Sorry about that. I am from South America with a Caribbean influence. My wife is British with Caribbean roots. Don't like spices. But what am I going to do? It doesn't mean that I am not going to have my hot pepper sauce on the table. We have to learn how to bring a balance and have a compromise. Wife doesn't like rice. I don't like ground provision. So there are days when we'll have to decide, you know what? I will eat what Jamaicans eat, and then you will eat what I eat. But you have to condition your mind through it that this is not about myself only being satisfied. Because if you alone are satisfied, then you're just being selfish. Think about how the other person is going to feel. And if whatever spices you are thinking about to add to your marriage is going to cause the other person to be not so pleased, then that is not a spice that you add to the pot. Whatever you're adding to the pot must be able to enhance the pot. You know, like some people say, too many cooks spoil the broth. You don't want to be just throwing things into the pot and you're not tasting. The tasting part simply means you're taking time to assess, does it really need any more salt? Do I need to balance it with some sugar, or do I need to put some onions in here? So that's how I think persons need to do. And I know persons that say, "Oh, you pray about it." I do believe you pray about it, but there's some things you have got to deal with it.
Right. Got that. That's a nice point to close that one off. We're moving on with 50 questions at the Georgetown Tea House. Don't forget to like and share.
Would you say it was good when friends and neighbors were allowed to discipline each other's kids? Or looking back now, do you see that there was actually a problem with that?
I think that question goes two ways. Discipline and abuse, they're two different things. Back in the day, I remember of getting myself whooped, and sometimes it was excessive, which I think, and it doesn't even have to be a neighbor, it can be a family member, it can be your parent, and I definitely think that was abuse. Being disciplined in ways we can actually, there are ways that now I discipline my kids or speak to them that they can understand what I'm saying. At times I can go off because you're mad, but I normally would backpedal and come back and let them know the reason why I'm going through this or I'm saying this to you. It's always for a reason. One of the things the kids think is that they're like, Mom, you can get annoying because I say the same thing over and over and over because I want it to be in your head that what you're doing or the steps you're taking, it's wrong. I've been there before. So I try to correct it. But back home, some of the beatings that we got, it was excessive and abusive. And then some of it, I think it's discipline, but I don't think a neighbor or a friend or another family member should be allowed to hit your child.
Tyrone, on occasion, we would hear people lament, about the good old days when, the neighbor could have, called the little brother or another young person, discipline them if they're supposedly doing something bad. What's your take on that? Do you think that was a good thing?
It is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing, and I'm speaking from the perspective of a teacher. I remember an experience I had where I tried to speak to a child, and the child would not listen. So one day, I called the child by himself and I asked him the question. I asked the question, why didn't you listen and obey instruction? And the response was, because you're not my teacher. So we have children coming into the school system with the mentality that if you're not directly responsible for me, then you have no right correcting me or telling me anything. And I believe from looking on, it stems from the home circle, especially when you have parents telling older siblings, don't discipline the younger ones. Wait until I come home, and then when I come home, then you tell me, and I'll discipline the younger ones. So the younger ones grew up with the idea that it only the parents can discipline them, can correct them, can guide them in the right way. And they come to school with that same mentality. So I believe it was a good thing in the sense that it allows us to know or remind us that any adult, any responsible adult has the right to correct you when you're going wrong on the road.
Okay. Your take, Leon?
I do agree and I disagree at the same time with the changing wind of how society is going. Some people, you don't know how emotionally intelligent they are in the way how they will be able to respond to that child. Sometimes they may cause more damage to your child than you would have allowed. I don't think what was happening back then indeed was a good thing. Because persons still had an opportunity to have a true sense of what a community is. We no longer exist in community. We just exist as a society, which is a wide cross section of people who just mind in their own business. And therefore, that is where the breakdown comes in, because you might be thinking it's okay for Tom to scold the child, but Tom has no sense of reasoning that this doesn't require a backhand. But just because it is called discipline, Tom backhand your child. And then you now want to go deal with the police, the social worker, and all sorts of people, all because Tom who think he was doing something good in disciplining your child has no sense of discipline himself or sense of reasoning as to how you go about correcting. And I don't even believe everything has to be about physical form of discipline, but you can be able to meaningfully engage people in the conversation as to why did you do that? What was the reason behind it? So that they can be able to think like our guest was saying earlier. She just keeps saying the thing, and the children of today's society, they don't want you to keep saying the things over and over. They want to tell you, give them a reason why. So as we recognize our society and our generations are changing, we who are the ones with the knowledge have to know how to apply that knowledge, make it applicable for this generation. I always believe the message never changes. It's the method that does.
Okay. Thank you, Cleon. Moving on.
What's your own secret to ensuring that your white t-shirts, all your white clothing, your white sheets, your white towels, that they stay white, bright, shining, glittering white? What's your secret?
When it comes to whites, I think that is something that you should of course, first and foremost, you wash by itself. All whites should go with whites. You make sure you do your hot water, your little bleach. When it comes to certain white stuff, I believe like your sheets, that should be done at least every week. I would say every 4 days you should wash it, or every week you get that in the wash and do it. Back home, we used to do the blue, but we don't have blue here, or I don't know about us having blue here. But I will make sure my whites stay white by constantly putting it in the wash and avoiding stains, like, eating on the bed and having stuff, spill on it. I definitely do stuff like that. Now, if it's stained and that stain does not, it cannot be removed, or I've done my best and it hasn't, then it goes to the trash.
Okay. But, there are a few stores that you can get blue, and blue in the same way that we had it back home, the cakes of blue, or you can get it in liquid form.
Well, when you guys find it, just pack me a box and send it up, because I cannot find that in North Carolina. You pack me a box and send it. I'll accept it.
I'll put that on my list. Blue.
Tyrone, were you fascinated that, like, I used to be back in the day? You go by a backyard, and you look at the line, right? And this body, they got the white sheets and the white clothes, and it's so white it blinds the eye. Are you one of those people who can get your line looking like that?
I am not sure about getting it looking like that, but I'll try. I think I saw somebody using dishwashing liquid
to get the bright,
yes, to get the bright color. I saw that before, but back in the day, sometimes they did not only use the blue to get the clothes looking sparkling on the line, but when they took it off the line now, in wearing it, they have the starch.
Okay, right.
They used to starch the clothing, and to me that used to help to keep the whiteness in the material, in the clothing, in the color.
Okay. Cleo, you got any secrets for white clothing?
For white clothing, you just need to scrub your skin. You need to have a good shower. If you don't bathe properly, the whites can't stay white. Apart from that, being very facetious here. Apart from that, I know persons would usually use the blue soap, and they lather the white in the blue soap, and sometimes you have the hot water and the big pot, and you boil it. Boil the clothing in the hot water, and then there is the blue soap that you just put it out into the sun for the while before you actually do the washing of it. And then you rinse it in a little blue water so that it stay white.
Okay,
cool. but have a good shower so the towel could stay white.
So you go, all right, Claire. Yeah. Moving on.
Just get a ningwa.
Looking back, looking around you, looking back at your own life, good times and bad. Would you say that at any point of time would a polyamorous relationship have worked for you, or would you say that such relationships are out, a little too far outside of your belief system?
Definitely not. I when I'm into one person, I can't share. There is no way I can see my other half, even if I'm there and I'm supposed to be in it. I cannot see my other half with indulging in someone else. So I don't think it even has to do with my beliefs. It's just, I want it all. I want it all or nothing at all. I want it all. I can be whatever woman you want me to be. So I don't think that we should have a second person. The only thing it's going to be, it's a different maybe feeling, maybe, I don't know, and a different being. But I am willing and ready to do some things that will make my other half a happy person. I do not believe in sharing at all. At all. I'm greedy.
Just a side question. What would you do if you ever found yourself being attracted to the boyfriend or the significant other of a good friend?
Oh, um, that. So and can I answer that quite honestly? That would never happen.
Okay.
Um, my friend, that is a very deep word. I have friends that have became sisters in my life. I do not use that word loosely and say friends. A friend means so much to me. There's so much attached to that. And if it is, there is no way you should find yourself, or there's no way you can be attracted for me to one of my sister friends' man. That is like, to me, she's my sister and that's my brother-in-law. And that's deep to me. That's my brother. I should not have an attraction for that person. So to answer that question, like I said, truthfully, I can't even find myself in a space where I can think of how I would feel, because there's none. I think that's crossing a line where that can get really serious. I've had instances where I had someone that I took or thought it was my girlfriend that crossed that line, and I know how it feels to want to react, or how I reacted towards something like that. And I definitely, and how much it hurt to know that someone I considered close to me wanted to do that. So I'm not going to do it to any girlfriend that I have or sister friend. It's not going to happen. So I can't even feel that. My brother, I can't.
Tyrone, what does the Bible, how do you think the Bible actually addresses poly relationship, polygamy, polyamorous? How in your mind, etc.?
If we were to take it from Genesis, from the creation, where God made one man and one woman, and He brought them together to be bone of each other's bone and flesh of each other's flesh. If you take it from that principle, then polygamous relationship is outside of God. It is not in line with what God says. And if we go to the New Testament again, we will also see it right there, that God is only interested in relationship with one man and one woman. Yes, in the Bible, from the Old Testament perspective, they were men of God who had more than one, but it never said that God sanctioned or God accepted or God agreed with it. And what we see coming up from those relationships were a lot of dysfunctional families where they had all these fights and all these quarrels, and it pained Abraham having to put out Hagar and his son. And God had to say to Abraham, listen to your wife. Listen to what Sarah is saying to you. Put her out. It pained Abraham. So that kind of relationship, because it is outside of who God is, it's painful. It hurts a lot. And it causes chaos, and it causes a whole lot of other psychological effects and all the rest of it. But from God's perspective, and I believe if God was basically saying to mankind, this is the kind of relationship I want with human beings, one on one. Don't bring any other person into our relationship. Then the monogamous relationship is the ideal representation of who God is and what God wants.
Okay, Cleon, point taken. Tyrone. Cleon, David and Solomon, there's a lot of respect for them, even aside from their lifestyle. But given their lifestyle, do you think that we should have the kind of respect we have for, especially Solomon?
In all of his wisdom, he penned very credibly so that we do not make the dumb mistakes that he would have made. And that is how I see any form of literature that is therefore as a means of giving you direction as to where you should not go. So that much I would say, yes, we will still need to credit them for being the example so that we don't have to deal with the trauma ourselves.
Okay, great. Thank you. Moving on.
So let's say you have a friend, she's in a bad relationship. She's come to you to say, Orlando, I can't take this anymore. And, you pour your heart out, giving your recommendations, giving your suggestions. When you do that, are you the kind of person who will look on expecting that she will follow your advice, or once you say what you have to say, you kind of go on with your life?
Okay. So this that is something that I'm involved in even at work. I am one of the people that young women will ask to speak to me on the job because of abusive relationships. One of the things is that I'm very easy to talk to. Telling someone or advising them about leaving a relationship, you do have to be careful of how you're approaching that situation. You can tell someone, hey, you should be leaving him, walk out, walk away from the relationship. It does not mean that they're ready to do it. I've seen it happen time and again. They've came bruised and beaten and broken, and you give advice and that counseling number, that number for them to get the help that they can move on, and they don't. They have to, that individual, they have to be ready. It's a situation whereas they have to be like, I'm done. I'm done. This is where I'm going to move on. I am the kind of person that will follow through. I guess that's one of the reasons I have many people that keep coming back. And I've had people that I'm still kind of counseling that is still there, but I'm walking them through daily. I listen, I might give an input, not too much or not too little. At times I can be tough with the things I say, but I know that if they're not ready to leave that relationship, there is nothing I can do. I am also a victim. So I know how it feels to be brainwashed and don't want to leave because you're thinking about maybe your kids. I don't want my kids to be without a dad. And, you just want the best for them because maybe in childhood you experienced where you didn't have a dad. So you don't want that for your kids, and that you're brainwashed, and it doesn't matter what you're going through, you're just holding on and you're thinking about them and not about yourself, because the healthier you are is the healthier your kids will be. They see it all. So it's still destroying them until you can take them out of that bad situation and place them in a safe place.
School sports in Guyana. Where would we have found Orlando? Would she have been participating on the field, or would she have been one of the noisy, rowdy folks in the stand?
Oh, definitely one of the rowdy folks in the stand. I couldn't run to save my life. I had 2 left feet. I was pigeon-toed. So there's no way I'll be on the field doing no track. So I'm definitely going to be in the crowd being a cheerleader and cheering you on and making all that noise and rockers, but you won't find me on the field. I run alongside you, but I'm not on that field trying to be coming as number 1 at all.
Okay. And did you have like a sports time or a sports day boyfriend?
No, I did not. I was actually, believe it or not, I was so tomboyish. I was nothing but this tiny stick that I hung with the boys. I mean, a lot of people that I can tell you, I hung with the boys. I was nothing to reckon with. Back in the day, I was nothing to reckon with. I definitely didn't. I wasn't a girly girl at all. Very tomboyish and love to fight. Yeah. So yeah, it's a different person from what we all know. My daughter would tell me, I tell her a little bit of myself, from back in the day. She'd be like, I cannot imagine you like that. I was like, oh, okay. She's like, because you're always so put together. Yeah, okay. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, that's like another person that we both know who has admitted to fighting all of her school life. And she's going to be on the broadcast too. So maybe she'll talk about that.
All right. When my co-host rejoins us, she'll be talking about her days fighting and why, even though she held the Bible since her young days, that she was always fighting. But in the meantime, Cleon, have you ever had to counsel that friend, male or female, who, no matter how good your advice is, they never seem to listen, but they always keep coming back for the advice?
Yes, and your responsibility is to continue to give that advice. Because you never know when they are going to pick the sense out of the nonsense. I always say to my friends when I was in college and studying psychology, I can't change anybody. They already know what the problem is. They come to you, they tell you it, you sit down, and then you share with them, and they say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because they know exactly what they need to do. But as our presenter said, in the right time, when you are capable enough of making that decision to move forward, you will make it, because you're not going to go at the end of the day and say, I tell you to do XYZ or I told you to do that. No, I'm not taking blame for your death.
Interesting. Anything you want to add to that, Tyrone?
The thing is, this comment is not coming from a counselor or psychological perspective, but just from a human perspective. If the relationship is one that is very dangerous, the person should not only be given advice, but the person's hand should be taken and bring them out of the situation. Not necessarily the relationship, but the physical space. If the person's life is being threatened on a daily basis, I would feel more guilty not getting the person out of the physical space than if the person should remain in the physical space. And the next thing we will hear is that the person was murdered. So that is my contribution, because the thing is, if the relationship that's not physically abusive or detrimental to the person, yes, continue to advise them, continue to give them counsel. And they're individuals who would need us to literally take their hand and bring them out of a certain situation than to allow them to stay in a situation So if we can get them to distance themselves from the stimulus, then I believe that we should basically do that, even if it comes to literally getting them out of it, taking their hand and bringing them out.
All right, thank you, Tyrone. Okay, we're going to be moving on. And after this clip, Marcel will rejoin you and will be telling you about her great old 5 days as a youngster. All
That
right.
will be interesting.
So we're moving on with Orlando, and we'll be back. When we come back, Marcel will be in the seat.
Next question. What was the last movie, that you saw that made you cry?
Oh, wow. I'll tell you a movie that gets me every time, and I can watch it over and over without being tired and over without getting tired. But it's emotional. It's The Sound of Music. I've loved that movie from childhood, and yes, that movie gets me every time. Just knowing and seeing everything that they've been through, just to get out of all that conflict, and how love held them together. I'm a little softy when it comes to that, and emotional, and it comes with age too. We cry for everything now. Every little thing we look at, we cry. But that movie has always have my emotions going, whether it's from the love story to trying to get out of that war and being found, and just the whole. I just love Sound of Music. My favorite movie of all times.
Okay, which is your favorite track?
Um,
Do, re, mi.
yes, a female dear Ray, a drop of golden sun. I love that part. That's when I get up and start acting. Not as much as I used to do as a child. It's a little slower, but I still do it. Yes.
Okay, welcome back, guys. And I saw so many people in the chat that I know, and I saw some new folks, and I just want to welcome you to the Georgetown Tea House. We are happy that you chose us to spend your evening. And yes, as Nancy was saying, I had some really, really, before we come to this favorite movie business, I've had some really, really long, hard days. And Allison is who is in the chat that went to primary school with me. She could attest to that fact. I mean, we're fighting. I mean, you had to fight because people take advantage of you, So I was beating everybody for my sisters and my friends and everybody, And then I went to the East Coast to live, and then people would trouble me and stuff, and you got to represent, So anyway, I'm not dwelling on that. So right on to this favorite movie.
Right, girl, you gotta share the licks.
Listen. I didn't hear that, Leon.
You gotta share licks. Well, let people put people in their place, mail them out.
Yes, you have to, right? I mean, I'm not doing that now. I'm like Orlando said, when I tell Sherwin or other friends who now know me, about my little bad days, it's like, you? It's like, come on. It's like,
yeah. I saw a few of those, don't worry.
Tara could attest to some of the bad things too.
I saw a few of those fights.
There you go. Her favorite movie, this happened to be one of my favorite. I actually think it's my favorite movie as well. And Orlando tries singing. Orlando, stop. You got me. You got me here. Somewhere in my youth or childhood, I must have done something good. Nothing comes from nothing, nothing ever would. But somewhere in my youth or childhood, I must have done something good. That's my favorite. The part when he's confessing his first time that he fell in love with her, and she's doing the same. Orlando, oh my goodness, I'm right there with you with Sound of Music. Guys, what's your favorite movie? Look at Cleon got thing. Okay, Tyrone. Tyrone, you don't have a favorite movie?
All movies. I love to watch movies. Movie that made me cry, no. But what made me feel a little sad was two movies I watched. Courageous and Fireproof.
Okay.
Courageous and Fireproof. Those two movies. But I just love watching movies.
Okay.
There are three things I watch on television: sports, news, and movies.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Cleon, there's not a movie that you could call to
I,
mind?
I, for me, like to say, this is the one movie that I really, really loved.
Oh my goodness.
Not necessarily, but if I am to choose one, I love The Diary of the Mad Black Woman,
Okay. How many
the
times
Tyler
did you
Perry
watch it?
movie. I've probably seen it more than 5 times.
Okay.
And I'm always intrigued as to how she still went back to help the same man who would have,
Yes, a God-fearing woman. Oh my goodness.
I
Oh my
mean,
goodness.
that simply says
God.
we can forgive people even when they would have done us the worst of the worst.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
I don't like
Melissa,
the revenge part of that movie.
you don't like the.
The revenge part of that movie.
Listen, I mean,
I
it's
thought
pretty
he well
much.
deserved it. However,
Yes, I think
Yes,
because she.
he deserved it, but I don't like the revenge part of that movie.
But when she came full circle, that was.
how can you say he deserved it but you don't like the
I
revenge
don't
part?
like the revenge part of the movie. I don't like in terms of taking revenge or people taking revenge. To me, there's a better way out than having revenge.
Okay, Melissa is saying imitation of life has anybody
Yes,
saw
that's
that
a very
one?
good one.
Yes.
Yep, yep.
I love that one.
Yeah,
When
make
her
me
mom
cry,
died
tear up. Yes, definitely,
and she couldn't get to see her mom.
definitely,
But there's
definitely.
something about me and movies. I must say that do not ask me what the movie is about during the movie. When it's finished, I'll tell you what it's about.
Oh
When it
wow.
gets to the end, that's when I understand movie, what it really is. But to get it halfway, no.
Oh wow. All right,
When
moving
I was in college, I'll confess this, Marcel, that's why I don't really look at television a lot. When I
on.
was
Okay.
in college and we'll go to the theater in Trin City, and I see the first 5 minutes of the movie. I said, this is the star, that's the scam, this is the plot. Wake me up when this is over.
Oh wow.
If I can figure out what is going to happen in 5 minutes, that make no sense. There must.
Definitely,
I love
definitely.
movies that have a really good suspense that will keep you
Mm.
wanting, like series that will keep you wanting for more and more. But these kind of regular no come up shows, be like,
Okay.
no. And even when I first came to Jamaica, my wife and I went to look at up. What's the name of the movie? Transformers, and I saw it before because all I can remember from that movie is I am Optimum Prime. So I saw the movie before, and if I didn't really like it, but because I had to go with her to look at the movie, I said I will be you'll wake me up when this is over with. It's
All
fine.
right. Anyway, moving on. Question 13 and 14.
What's the story behind you getting your first tattoo? And I
Oh
mean,
my
and I mean the whole story.
God. Okay. My first tattoo. So I think it was in 2000. I actually had went back home from Toronto, and I guess the mosquitoes or the bugs, whatever, knew it was fresh blood, and it was right on my right thigh that I was bitten. So you see a little bump, and you would tease on it and touch it, and
Scratch on it, yes.
yeah, try to squeeze it. And eventually it started mustering up what it shouldn't have if I'd left it alone. And one day it did pop, and it left this dark mark on my thigh, which I hated. So I decided that I was going to do a tattoo to cover this mark.
Wow.
And yes, I the tattoo I decided on, it was a rose with a ribbon running through it. And the ribbon, I was gonna cradle my first baby's name. She went on to a better world. I was gonna cradle her name in that ribbon. The pain was so much, I never got to the name. I got the ribbon done. Yes.
Okay.
But I have 11 now.
11.
11 and heading for one more.
I don't envy. I envy the top you wear. Envy you for the top you wearing tonight, but I don't envy the 11. Keep them.
I plan on. They're very addictive. Don't start.
So I heard. So I heard.
Yes.
If we ever had to look for Orlanda in a store, which store would be most likely to find her in?
Well, I'm a bargain shopper. I don't know if you guys have heard about Ross.
Of course.
Well,
Of course.
they know me by name, okay? That is my store to go. And I normally go after work when I know during the week when the crowds are not there, so I can just take my time and move through the aisles one by one. That is my favorite store.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ross, number one.
Yes, I wish there was a Ross store in New York. I'm telling you, because I would have been in there every single day as well. I am so happy when I venture out of New York, whether it's to Maryland or Virginia or wherever, and because they have Ross stores. So I breathe. So beautiful. So Ross is it.
Yes, we have where I am. I have at least within 9 miles, 3 within 9 miles. So I mean, it's in the way. It's next to your job. It's like it's calling you. Yes.
Okay, Orlando. I'm definitely coming to visit. I'm definitely coming to visit.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm definitely coming to visit. I'm definitely coming to visit.
Guys,
yes,
stars. Let's talk quickly about because our time is just rushing by. Let's talk quickly about Orlanda's tattoos. She miscounted, She told me 11, but it actually was 12. 12, right? Oh my goodness. What you thought of Orlando and her tattoos?
I'm happy for her. I'm not getting any. Reason why I don't have a tattoo is because I've decided if I want to change my watch today, I must be able to decide what color I want to wear. So goes with my glasses, because sometimes I'll do the blue one, I'll do the brown one, whichever frame I want to use. But anything that will leave something that I can't remove, no, that won't work for me.
Okay.
Not because I'm a Christian.
Okay. I wanted one so badly. I wanted a scorpion on my arm. And then I decided, nah, I ain't gonna do this scorpion. You, Tyrone, you ever thought about having one? She said it's addictive, She said that.
No. In terms of Orlando and her tattoo, as my other friend said, as Cleon said, I'm not getting into that. Maybe there's some underlying reason why that is so. But I've had conversations with a few young ladies who wanted to put tattoo and who had tattoo on their skin. And one of the reasons why they put tattoo is it was a means of they just love to feel pain because of what they were going through. That was their means of dealing with the pain in their life that they were going through. So I guess everybody has different reasons
For doing stuff.
for putting tattoos. So, but for me, no. And I'm not going to judge anybody's character by them having tattoo.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Or let's switch to this shop. Tyrone, I know you're a guy, and guys don't really like to go in like Orlando and I and Karen and Michaela and us going through the rack and searching at Ross and Marshalls and the like. Which store we would most likely find you in?
I don't like shopping.
Oh wow.
I don't like shopping.
Truly.
And the thing is, if I'm going to buy something and I see what I like at the first store, I will get it. If and what happens thereafter, it happened already. That when I go down a few stores later, I saw the exact thing at a cheaper price.
Oh shoot, you see?
The same
Exactly.
thing. So, I don't like shopping. So the store that you will find me in
Yes.
is the store with the most people inside, and I'll tell you why.
Oh shoot.
I just love to go in stores and supermarkets and watch people shopping. How they go about shopping is very interesting, and you can find a whole lot of interesting stuff about people.
By what they buy.
Sometimes you go to supermarkets, sometimes you go in the store and you see people with calculators calculating price and so on. While some of them have papers with a list and they're ticking off lists. It's very interesting. You see children, how they behave in stores. It's very interesting. That's what I do in stores.
Okay.
I go and I walk around and I observe people. Very interesting. It calms my nerves.
Wow, beautiful. What about you, Cleon?
I'm not a good online shopper. I prefer to be in the physical space. And like the the other persons on the platform, Ross is the go-to store.
Yes, 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 yes.
And I am the type of person, if I go into a store, I still asking for discount, whether it on the sale rack or not. Because my money got stretch. My money got stretch because when I go in the store and I say, okay, I'm gonna spend $25 and I'm expecting to get at least 6 pieces for my $25. And when I coming out, I must get more than my 6 pieces for my $25 because when I finish getting to the cashier asking, is there a discount on anything that is here? I see a small hole on the side. Is there a discount for this? My money got stretched. So for me, definitely whenever I'm in the US, and I love going to California, and I love going to Florida and Virginia because there is a Ross. I don't really like New York for that fact because there's no Ross there for you to. And I don't know who is the person in the chat, Gumpo, but Conway. Who like what Conway get that anybody want? But you go Conway, we gonna go Ross. Stretch
Yes,
$3.
one person talk about Amazon. So I think she prefers to stay at home and go online and just peruse. You know, like Orlando, I like
My
to.
wife is an Amazon shopper.
Yes, she like Amazon as well.
So which store are you going in Guyana? What about Beaners?
Oh shoot!
And the other stores in Guyana when you go to Guyana?
Let me tell you something. When I lived in Guyana,
Yeah, sin man.
please, I look at the front of the store to determine if I want to enter that store. If your showcase window don't tell me anything that I like,
Not going in.
I have my friends when it's Christmas time and we're going to shop for clothing to go to a staff party or anything. They say, Kodoga, we go into town. I said, listen, but prepare to walk. Because we're not wasting we time going in no store that giving we false impression with these nonsense that they're posting in the window. You wearing any of them things inside of the window? No. So if you don't want anything in the window, don't go in the store. Move on because you're going to waste your time.
Yes, definitely. And me, because I have no Ross in New York, and I don't get to travel out to Maryland or to Virginia or so that I got a Ross. If you happen to be looking for me in New York, just come to any Marshalls close to my house or a K&G and you'll find me right there looking through the rock. You'll find me there looking
You
through.
you have to be wise in how you're spending.
Okay. All right. So we're happy that you stayed with us. We're happy that you joined us. Samantha Douglas, and all these beautiful people that are here for the first time. I'm seeing you guys. Thank you so much. We're coming down to our 15th and final question. We had a really, really good time tonight with you. Talking with you with Orlanda Stewart. She was a really, really beautiful guest and a great guest. All right, so we're gonna go to Orlando's last question.
Have you found Guyanese men to be good friends, trustworthy individuals, and competent lovers?
Why hasn't a question?
Orlando laughs.
I am. I'm trying to put the words together here. I think that they can. Just like, I mean, I don't want to bring in anyone else, but people are people. You will find some that you can trust. You will find some that you can talk to. And you'll find some that are the best, phenomenal lovers ever. And just like anything else, there's some that they falter on all three that I just said. Mm-hmm. So, I can't say that yes, like all Guyanese men are.
Yeah.
I can speak for experiences that I had with some. I mean, I have Guyanese guys that I went to school with that I know they hold constant stuff. We can talk and, speak about stuff, but that is as far as it goes. And then I have experience with lovers and, yeah, I can say for both. Yes. It's half and half. It can go either way.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Orlando, for answering our 15 questions.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I enjoyed it.
Beautiful.
Tyrone, after listening to Orlando's final response to the last question, what do you think she held back?
I did not get the last question clearly, so.
You didn't? Okay. Cleon, I know Cleon ears good, and Cleon heard exactly what I asked.
I think she answered to the best of her recollection based on her experience. And she rightly said, people are people. So like some people say, oh, Guyanese man is the best man, or Trinidadian man is the best man, or Jamaican man is the best. Humans are humans. Their nationality and the way they were cultured is going to be totally different from how you're going to expect them to respond to in certain situations. So I therefore agree with her that a human being is what you encounter, and you find ways and means to make it work with that person.
Okay. No, time. We're just asking, if you think that Guyanese men were like good lovers, the kind of thing, good friends, good to talk with, etc.
Oh, that was a question that she responded to.
Yes.
Okay. Response, there was a sense of a little bit of conservatism.
Okay.
She wanted to respond in a certain way, but she held back a bit.
She held back, right?
And
I know she
yes,
held back.
she held back a bit,
Clear.
and maybe between those moments, she was basically trying to figure out the consequences of her response. So she was a bit. She was. It was. She held back. Let's say that. Let's say that she held back a bit.
Yes,
Yes, and
definitely.
she was being.
I
She
did.
was being very. She was being very smart. But a
She
point.
said so. Yes,
The point that in terms of generalizing men,
yes.
that all men are men, and some would flip the coin and say all women are women in that respect also. It doesn't matter where you come from. That is the point that she made that caused me to believe that okay, she's treading a thin line here, and she is erring on the side of safety.
Caution and caution.
Caution,
All right.
yes, caution and
Thank you
safety.
so much. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of our 15 questions.
I
Thank you
disagree
so
with
much.
both of you. No, she wasn't. She answered the question in its entirety. How you interpreted what she said was borderline.
Mhm. Like really?
Thank you, Cleon. Thank you, Cleon. I know Orlando would be happy for that. Orlando would be happy for that. Thank you so much. You've been great, and a great audience as usual. Thank you for coming out to the tea house. Next Monday, we'll be here again with another beautiful young woman in the seat, in the hot seat. So, like I said the last time I went live, keep your phones close and keep checking your messages because I'll be calling on you to go into the hot seat. So thank you, everyone. If you've been here for the first time, I thank you for coming out and I encourage you to come again. And don't go before you like the YouTube page, like and subscribe. If you on the Tea House page, the Gospel Side of Me page, don't forget to like it. If you're on my page, don't forget to like and follow as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And we love you all. Thank you, Cleon. Thank you, Tyrone.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Orlando, for being a beautiful guest.
She didn't say where she came from.
Oh, she didn't say.
She did say she's from Georgetown.
Georgetown. Yes, she's from
Oh,
Georgetown.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear
Yes,
that. I
she
missed
said
It
that.
was in the chat.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, she's from GT. So thank you, guys. Good night, and we are out. See you soon.
Ni hao.
With us this evening is Orlanda Stewart.